Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back to Y&R For Life, where we talk about all things Y&R related. We talk about what's going on, my predictions, what I think's going to happen. Hey, we even talk about fashion on this show because I'm a big time fashion girl. So we got to spill the tea about that from time to time. If you're new here, my question is, what took you so long to get here? And if you are returning, what's up? Long time no see. It's been one of those weeks once again. I decided I'm just going to spill the tea for the entire week. Why? Because you see me with the purple robe. It's not fully closed up, which means it was a little bit of a sleepy week for me. So I kind of didn't want to break this up into two videos. I wanted to just kind of plow through the week and, tell you what's been going on. So again, it's really been one of those weeks where up and down, up and down. We did have some scene fillers, things like that, but it is what it is. So my usual disclaimer, if you kind of don't want to know what's going on, you want to get caught up on your own, this might not be what you want to see or hear. However, I am so grateful that you are here. And not forgetting, if you like this type of content, you like what you see and you like what you hear, it would be so kind if you could hit that like and subscribe button and hit the bell notification so that you don't miss a single video I post here on Y&R For Life. So we're just going to kind of get into it. Again, I'm kind of liking my usual format now where we just talk about the characters, kind of see where they're going, what's been going on with them. And like I said, we had some scene fillers. It was a little bit of a sleepy week, so much so where I had to rewatch a particular episode because I'm like, did I sleep through that whole thing? It was just, as I say, lackluster. But whatever. And no notes, so we're just winging it here. If I forget something, it's the nature of the beast, as I say. Maybe I plumb forgot. Maybe it wasn't newsworthy. Who knows? But we're going to get into it. Okay, so who should we talk about first? Let's talk about the fact that Devon and Abby, Devon, he was kind of doing his packing up because him and Abby are now going to be moving into the Chancellor Mansion, which in theory is a part of his birthright, so to speak, because for those who don't know, he is the grandson of the late Catherine Chancellor. Anyway, so he's kind of getting some pictures, they're always in frames, and he sees a picture of him and Lily and Neil and what have you. So he actually decides to leave these pictures, and everything looks kind of bare bones, although he left all the wine on the wall. I'd have been like, I don't drink, but I'd have been like, this is a nice thing. I'm taking all this wine with me. But he left it for his sister. It is what it is. So him and Abby, are now going to live there, and he has provided Lily the keys to the kingdom called the Penthouse Suite, and Lily is now transitioning over there. Anyway, so Lily comes over there, and did she even have a lot of boxes? She had like a couple trinkets, but anyway. So we'll get into that in a second. There was that transition. All right. Not much to talk about where that was concerned because I dare say that was a slight scene filler. What was probably even more of a scene filler was the fact that Chelsea, once again, she's kind of like they're just kind of putting her in whenever they feel like it, again, to fill the scenes. So she is basically, as I previously said, Summer had said, hey, I'm just revisiting my job offer for you to come and work alongside me at Marchetti, since Kyle's job is that's obsolete now and makes room for Chelsea. So after Chelsea and Billy had discussed this potential, move for Chelsea, she decides she's going to go for it and thinks it's a great opportunity. And yeah, so there was this whole thing of her saying, yeah, I'll do it. And again, not much to say about it. She says she really enjoyed fashion and she is looking forward to getting back into it. It was a bit of a snore fest for me. Congratulations, Chelsea. Moving right along. Okay. So I think we got rid of most of the scene fillers because it really wasn't that newsworthy, but I still mentioned it anyway because it was part of the show. So let's talk about Adam and Sharon. So Sharon, as you know, or you should know anyway, she has inherited Cameron, I'm feeling myself, Kirsten's, his old business, whatever his company, Kirsten Unlimited. I think that's what it was called. To be honest with you, I don't recall him even having a company, but oh well, I guess everybody does. So Adam is, he's at the coffee house and he's talking to someone on the phone, basically saying, this has to be done, that has to be done. Whoever he's talking to based on his company that he took over from a call. I can't even remember what he calls the new company, but it just, in my head, kind of didn't make any sense, but such is life. Not important. So Sharon overhears this conversation. Meanwhile, Sally, Spectra, is on the patio and she's overhearing this stuff, whatever's going on with Adam. So she kind of stands offside, although Sharon's no fool. She can actually see Sally, but we don't realize this until after she tells her it's safe to come on out. Anyway, Sharon has basically offered Adam the opportunity for their companies to merge. This happens a little bit down the way, but she offers Adam this opportunity. Adam's like, I don't know why I would do this, whatever. And she's like, I think this would be great. Sorry, Sharon goes into this whole, like, almost like a poetic moment, if you will, talking about bread and the ingredients and how you have to let the ingredients like set and then, take your time and let it rise. And, I'm thinking, just like Adam said, okay, well, thanks for the baking tip. And she's like, oh, I just came up with that on my own. Whatever the dickens she was talking about when it comes to business. And, it was like, you just have to kind of she almost made it sound sexual. Just like caress the ingredients and it was weird. Even for Sharon. So Adam toddles off. Again, she says to Sally, it's safe to come out now, whatever. Sally realizes that Adam is probably doing like his spiraling and that he needs assistance. And who better yet to give him assistance than dum-da-da-dum and on his chest, Nicholas. So she goes back to her room at the club, which, side note, why haven't you moved in with Nicholas yet? I mean, what are you waiting for? Not that you should, but I just kind of feel that it's just so impersonal for you and Nick at the club. It's not at the club, well, her room, so to speak. Get a home. Well, anyway, so she basically tells Nick that she feels that Adam is basically spiraling and that he needs assistance. And who better yet than you? You are his brother. He needs you. Yada, yada, yada. So Nicholas is like, well, yes, we're brothers. And, like we just seem like we can't get along. But she's like, yeah, but I think you can really help Adam. Whatnot, whatnot, whatnot. So you'll learn later on that he kind of doesn't mind the idea since he's been hoofed out of the position at Newman thanks to Victoria and Slimy Nate. Again, I still think that maybe at this point Slimy Nate is trying to pull a fast one on Victoria to kind of get her back for the damage that was done to his relationship with Devon and Lily, which, by the way, he did all on his lonesome. But we're going to see where that goes. Okay, so let's get through Victoria and Slimy Nate one time. Like, ugh. So we're kind of forging ahead, and then we'll go back a little bit. Just because I want to get them out of the way. Again, I just... So as usual, they end up, they're in the sheets. They're, they done hit the skins. And, whatever he says to her, oh, whatever I wanted to do to you down at the club, I couldn't do that because, there was too many people and I couldn't do what I wanted to do. And Victoria's like, well, I'm so grateful that you had time for me. And like their little back and forth, talks where they're trying to be all cute and dainty and sexy is just wah, wah, wah. Ugh. So, of course, they're huddled up in the sheets and he's basically saying that he likes their relationship. And she's like, yeah, have you given any thought to where you want this to go between the two of us? And he basically was saying, like, he didn't say it, but he basically was saying, like if he wants to move in with her, or like maybe even get married to her. Now, again, didn't say this, but that's kind of the way that it was leaning, because he was like, I want to work with you like on a daily basis and then be at home with you and then we can be together like this. And really? Ew, gross. So she's like, well, I guess you really have given thought to this. So he's like, well, yeah, I have. Well, they end up getting summons to Victor's house, but we're going to talk about that briefly. Momentarily, if you will. Let's backtrack, shall we, to like way back to Phyllis and Summer and Michael, and there was a whole host of characters there. So Phyllis and Michael were in the park and they were talking about I guess her case and how he's like, I'm narrowing in on the crooked paramedic, if you will, Carson, and he's like, we're honing in on him, and he's basically going to be your almost get out of jail card. Well, she's like, really, Michael? It'd be great. Da 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 da. Phyllis had already seen Summer, and the two of them were having their little moment in the park. And Mom, I'm so glad to see you. And hers was, let me look at you, baby girl. You look great. And basically, how's everything? And Summer's like, Bom, bom, bom. My marriage basically is going down the tubes. And she's like, well, it's all my fault. Well, Summer's like, well, yes, it is. Side note, did you see Summer's bag, like her shoulder strap? I was telling my husband, I'm like, why does she look like she's carrying artillery? Like, if you look at that strap, that was my first thought. I thought she was going to be like Rambo. But it was an interesting shoulder strap. But nonetheless, that was just a moment where I was like, that's an interesting strap. But moving right along. So they're in the park, and yes, it's your fault, Mom. My marriage sucks. It's going down the hill, and I'm trying everything possible to try and save it, but it's not looking too promising. So Phyllis is like, I've got to work on this. I got to try and get you guys back together. Side note again, wait till you find out that Kyle's been dipsy doodling with Audra Charles. That he has been all up in her grill for probably days now. They seem like they're going at it almost every day. But anyway, so Summer's like, you know what, can you just, I think enough has been, done. Like, okay, we're good. Moving forward, Tucker. I'm forgetting names. This shouldn't happen. But there's so much that happened, even though there was a lot of sleepy moments, that I feel like I'm forgetting names. But just follow me here. So Tucker, and we'll get back to Phyllis, but Tucker and Ashley meet at Society. And Tucker basically gives Ashley this box with a bow on it saying that this is call it a wedding gift or whatever. Turns out inside this box, it was a piece of paper with a telephone number on it. And that telephone number was basically, he could call in to get the crooked paramedic, Carson, to come in. And they have now deduced, this is Ashley anyway, that the way that this is going to work in order to get rid of Diane is that Phyllis needs to come back and terrorize Diane once again. And the only way she can terrorize her is if she's out of jail. Hence, the crooked paramedic. Well, story short, Phyllis ends up going to a room at the club. She knocks on the door, and whoever opens the door happens to be the crooked paramedic, Carson. So she's like, oh my gosh, is this real? Like, is this not a joke? Whatever. And she comes in, only to find out that Tucker is in the room as well. Well, Tucker, as slick as he is, he's like, yeah, he's here, compliments of me. So she's like, wait, is SWAT coming? Like, am I getting set up here? Like, what's going on? And he's like, no, nobody's coming for you. Like, just relax your spirit. I got him here. So crooked Carson is there because, as I said, Tucker, he basically got him there, paid him enough money, and that he will end up talking. And so the stipulation was something to the effect that as long as he does his part in order to get Phyllis off, that while he's in jail doing his time, Tucker will make sure that his mom is well taken care of. I don't know. Is that a pretty good deal? I couldn't tell you. But I guess it's good enough for Carson. Just weird to me. It is what it is. Like, to me, didn't Stark pay you enough money? But as Carson was like, he was a very dangerous man, and he threatened to kill me if I didn't do what, he told me to do. And Okay, Stark's gone, moving right along, Carson. Like, you can talk. He's gone. You're there to corroborate some story in order to get Phyllis off. So, I guess do your thing, and let's. You're not going to be on the show much longer. Just move along. Sorry, that's just the reality of it. So, at one point, Phyllis is like, "What? You're out for the reward?" And Tucker's like, "Oh, there's a reward? Interesting. I didn't know." That was funny to me. But again, Tucker with his one line, even Cricket came up with a one liner, and I never find her funny whatsoever. But she came up with a one liner. If I remember it, I'll say it. Anyway, what ends up happening is Tucker ushers Carson away and says, go back to your room or whatever, and order whatever you want from the menu, room service, and go watch a movie, and bye bye. Whatever you say, Mr. McCall, whatever you say. And he saunters off. So Tucker is now having a conversation with Phyllis about like she's like, what's going on here? What are you doing? Like, why? So he basically tells her that while you've been gone, myself and Ashley have gotten engaged. Whee! And yeah, we figure we can get him to talk, corroborate your story, get you off, and then you can go back to terrorizing Diane to finally be done with her. Great plan. So Phyllis is like, oh, and by the way, he also said, and that we started a company, I think it's called Simply Ashley, and we're going to basically run Jabot down into the dust, and that'll be the end of Jabot, because we're going to take Ashley's patents and we're going to move it over to our business and what have you. So Phyllis is like, look here, what I'm not going to do is do anything to Jabot, because that's where my daughter works, and I'm not going to do anything to basically undermine my daughter. Not going to happen. I'll tell you that one time. This is what she basically says. And she's like, I am kind of done with the whole Diane story, because that's what got me into the mess that I'm in now. He's like, looky here. I can tell Carson to be gone and thanks for your time, or you can do what I'm telling you to do. And that's pretty much what it is. And she's like, well, I'll end up being forever indebted to you. And, it is what it is. Well, what ends up happening is that, and I don't even know when this really occurred. This was completely off, like, whoa. She ends up having a knock on the door. This is Phyllis now. And who comes in is Heather, Daniel's wife, ex-wife. I don't know what they are at this point. And she comes in saying that Michael had to go because Gloria's in, I think she said Spain, gotten into some trouble, and he's got to go and handle that. So Daniel asked me to take over your case, and yeah, good thing is I was in Savannah, so whatever. Phyllis is like, oh, what? No, where's Michael? No. I mean, Gloria gets herself into trouble all the time. Like, no. Phyllis, Heather's like, look, I'm good at what I do. So, really, you don't have any other options. So Phyllis is like, oh my God, like, no. And she says, basically, at the end of it all, she's like, all right, fine, you're hired. And I mean, I could have called Amanda, but who knows, like, where she is. And I'm really upset that Michael jumped ship, and basically, yeah, I guess you'll do that kind of thing because I have no other options. Well, Daniel and Summer come in, and they're like, all right. Heather makes a call, says that she makes a call to Chance saying that she's with her client and her client's ready to turn herself in. Well, that was the funny part. So eventually, they all come down the stairs. It was like a whole entourage type scene. And they all come down the stairs at the club. Chance is with Cricket at this point in time at the base of the stairs of the club, you know, right by the revolving door. And last person that comes down is Phyllis. And Cricket says something to the effect that you got some nerve. There you are, like a prom queen or something like that. Just, what did she say? Not, she didn't use the word sauntering, but it was like that. Just like if you had no care in the world. And I was like, okay, Cricket, that's a funny. You're never hilarious, but that was a good one. I'd have to rewatch it again, but whatever she said at that point, which was something to that effect, man, that one had me in stitches. So, Phyllis kind of stood there and said, I'll do whatever for my kids. My kids love me. And she's like, you really have some nerve, and one of your kids are going to be facing charges along with you. That would be Summer, because half a step back, Summer had told Chance at the coffee house that Phyllis was ready to turn herself in. Okay. Way to go there, Summer. I just don't understand how the two of them could be having these conversations, and like you have not taken Summer in at all. Like, Chance, you know what the deal is, and you're just waiting for Phyllis then to get to Summer. That's weird. Okay, let's just forge ahead, because Phyllis, had her rights spoken to her, and she's getting hauled off to the station. Meanwhile, Tucker has videotaped this and sent this off to Ashley, and all's well with the world. Okay, let's backtrack to Audra and Kyle. Well, of course, they hit the skins a couple times, and Audra ends up offering Kyle the position of, what would it be, COO at Newman Media. And like Kyle's like, right on, good to go, that kind of thing, because ain't nothing left for me at Jabot, whatever. So we're going to see where that's going to go. I'm telling you, this is not going to end well. Not by any means. All right? So that's what it was. And it's going to be interesting. Who else can we talk about? Let's talk about the fact that Daddy-O, Victor Newman, has commissioned, as I said, all of his kids. Well, not all of them. So Victoria, Nicholas, and Adam, and even Slime and Nate to come to the ranch, because Victor is just fuming over like the disarray that's going on with these businesses. Newman Media, McCall, like he's just losing his mind, and he's like, obviously I've given my kids too much, slack, so to speak, for them to kind of run amok. So he basically says, from here on out, starting tomorrow, I'm going to be involved, and you're going to do what I say, and that's just what it is. Well, that didn't go over well with Adam, because Fast forward to him rapping on the door at the coffee house. Um, this is after Sharon and Chance have hit the skins in her office. Yeah, that's right. That's what happened. Uh, Looked a little awkward to me. I still think he may end up at some point with Summer, even if it's a one off scenario. But maybe Summer might throw herself onto him. I don't know. But I don't know how far this is going to go between him and Sharon, but whatever. So Adam's at the door and he basically tells Sharon, you know, as it pertains to our companies merging together, not going to happen. I'm done with it. Like, I don't want the company anymore. It's so your whole thing is mute. However, I am willing to come in and work with you um, for Kirsten's company in order to turn it around and make it profitable and the whole 9 yards. I don't know where this is gonna go. Maybe that's exactly what's gonna happen, but we'll see. So as I said, it's kind of been a whirlwind. It's been kind of up and down like a roller coaster. I didn't say anything in sequential order because it kind of just didn't warrant that. But we're going to see how things play out throughout this week because it should be interesting. Let me just see if I have forgotten anybody. So we talked about, oh yes, we had a moment where Diane and Kyle, they were kind of having a conversation about Kyle's marriage, and whatever Kyle said hit, a trigger point on for Diane where she's like, "I was a bad mom. I was a bad mom," and he's like, "Well, no, you're good, and I'm gonna protect my son. And Summer did this, and it's got nothing to do with me per se. I tried my best, but she was determined. She's the one that decided where her loyalties laid, and that just went on. Diane, she was already in black, so she was like in her own mourning, and yeah, she just wants to kind of get them back together, but I don't know how this will play out. I just don't think this is going to happen. And finally, Billy, once again, as I said, don't know where he decided that he was going to be like this star performer at Jabot. He's all in. And he basically had a conversation with Diane saying that, listen, Diane, I know you want me to kind of get involved in order to break up this whole madness between Jack and Ashley. However, the easiest way for this to happen, for poop not to hit the fan, is for you to not accept this position, like resign. And she's like, but, I worked so hard for this, and but. And he's like, look, I'm not telling you to do it forever. What I am saying is for the time being until, things calm down. Jack walked in, and who knows where that's going to go. Like, I don't know. It's going to be an interesting thing. And yeah, there was a moment between Ashley and Tucker. Poor Tucker looked like he was lost his best friend because Ashley, up to now, will not fully admit that she loves him, and he's losing his mind over this and trying his hardest. And yeah, Tucker, my friend, I don't know where this is gonna go for you, but I really think you should have just set your sights elsewhere. But that's just me. It is what it is. So I'm leaving a couple things out because they really wasn't anything to really talk about per se. However, I want to say thanks so much for sticking around. If you watched it all the way to the end, I'm so grateful for that. I'm grateful for the support. It is, again, for the love of the show. I absolutely love the show, one of my favorites. Being a wife and mother of two, this is my escape. Like, to actually watch a program where it's fun for me and I don't even have to think about anything else. So, again, I am so grateful that you are sticking by. And again, it is just for the love of the show. And I appreciate your time. I appreciate you just being here with me on this crazy journey called Y&R for Life. So, you all take care. And once again, if you like what you see, you like what you hear, it would be so kind if you could just hit that like and subscribe button, hit that bell notification so that you don't miss a single video I post here on Y&R for Life. I love you lots. You take care, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.